What's going on, folks? Good afternoon. It is the Earthmaster back here on the live stream with an update video on this Saturday afternoon, January 14th, 2023. It's about 12:48 p.m. here along the west coast, and a 4.8 earthquake into the Java Trench at about 132 kilometers deep there, the latest quake on the globe. Notice getting a lot of back building of pressure up here around the Papua New Guinea area, just south of the Philippines into the Indonesia islands, and also up here around the Izu Trench. Now, we were watching this area pretty closely here with some deeper movement into the Izu Trench yesterday and the day before. Now we're starting to see some of that shallow surface activity kicking up here in that region. All right, let's go ahead and look at areas here around the states first. Seen some odd earthquake activity up here in Maine last night, surprisingly. The same state where one lucky Mega Million winner won $1 billion. Coincidence? Who knows? That's just a little odd. See some earthquake activity in the state where one person won all that money. Crazy. I didn't get one number. But hey, can't win unless you play. But either way, little odd earthquake activity around Dedham, Maine. 3.3 and a couple twos in there as well last night, roughly about within 20 minutes of each other. It's a little odd. Don't see too much earthquake activity just southeast of the Bangor, Maine area. Now, historical data here, there's not a whole lot as far as historical data goes. Anything, not a whole lot shown up here across the area. Now, the hazard map, and by the way, this looks like it was felt pretty broadly over the area, and quite a few did you feel it responses coming in as well. Holden area, Orland, and Ellsworth, Maine region, all reporting some generally light shaking. Now the hazard map, let me show you guys the U.S. hazard map out here. It does just sit to the east of a major fault system out here north of Augusta. There's definitely some fault systems that kind of rumble out here once in a while, and they are listed up here on the hazard map from the USGS. Concord, New Hampshire down here, Augusta, all these areas here very capable of seeing some larger movement. So this earthquake activity here struck on the outside of that zone. So kind of watching it. It's been a long time since I've seen any movement up here around this area, but hey, they do get some earthquakes, and they do obviously get some big Mega Million winners out there. Congratulations to that one lucky person. I wonder if it's a viewer out here. Who knows? Hopefully. All right, let's see what else we got. Oklahoma seeing some activity as well, south of the OKC area, southwest of Norman. Couple twos coming in out here. Let's see what we got off 76 Payne oil field. Alrighty, yeah, it's out there. As we zoom in, there's quite a bit of these oil pumping operations out here once again. Some of these look like they are functionable, but there's a lot of them. All these little checkered little boxes here are either some type of fracking or oil wells, wastewater injection disposal sites, I'm sure, as well out here. And that's where that activity is occurring again. Today in Oklahoma, a little bit of activity out there in western Texas as well. Now, the west coast, not a whole lot going on through northern California. A little activity here near the Walker area coming in last night. That has not kicked up any further overnight or this morning. And a look at Southern California. Things are generally fairly quiet out there. We've seen a dropping off of earthquake activity here along the west coast for now. Not a whole lot going on further south here along the Peru-Chile Trench. A glance at the earthquake 3D model here kind of confirms that as well. Just a couple twos there into the Chile and Argentina region. Atlantic Ocean seen a 4.6, fairly new earthquake. Looks like the USGS not reporting on that earthquake, but there is one. 4.6 coming in here. And let me take a look here and see what else we might have not being reported. There's a deep earthquake, a 4.5 right here. Let's see where that's at exactly. Into the Columbia area. 148 kilometers deep. That's a really deep one. Is that going to be this earthquake? I believe so. Yes, coming in about 10 o'clock this morning, a 4.5. USGS is reporting that. Not a whole lot going on through the Hawaii area currently. Things just confined to the Pahala area. Kilauea volcano still in eruptive stage. Mauna Loa still taking a break for now. Now, the earthquake activity here around the Indonesia, Philippines area, all looks... it looks more broader on this map, but if you look at the bigger picture, there's a lot more earthquake activity occurring in this region than what we're seeing. A lot. This is a big deal, kind of spread out all over the place and highly increasing out here overnight. Now, we did see this earthquake here. This is when I was talking about at the beginning of this video, 4.2, 364 kilometers deep. I remember strain does build up at the subduction zone levels following deeper movement, and it looks as though some of that deeper activity is starting to show with a 5.2. There's a 4-pointer, this red color ring indicating that movement from last night, deep, and then subsequent shallower earthquake activity and larger at that, up towards the subduction level. It's a 5.2 coming in there just at the surface level of the Izu Trench, not showing up from the USGS here. But we'll go ahead and check this out real quick from the EMSC. And actually, this is GeoNet servers producing this one. Oh, that's a little on the odd side. Is that right? Did I click on the right one? Pretty certain that I did. It says 5.3. Huh, that's really weird. All right, either way, it looks like preliminary data, which means it really hasn't been reviewed yet by a seismologist, but that's a little on the weird side, let me tell you. Let me see if the GeoNet servers have picked up on that real quick. Let's go over here to list of earthquakes. Well, it's really starting to rain out here right now again. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but we had a pretty nice squall line come through this morning and dump a whole bunch of rain and some heavy duty wind as well. Just a really thin line of heavy duty rain. Kicked up a bunch of lightning as well. Let me go over here and check. I want to see if I can find that 5.3. I'm not a big fan of that map. Oh yeah. Can you guys hear it? It is coming down. So it doesn't look like they are reporting that 5.3 on the EMSC model either. So we'll have to see if that is a legit earthquake or not. It's weird that the GeoNet servers is the one reporting on this earthquake. Either way, a large uptick, I would say, across the region here today. Including some movement, looks like off the coast of northern Taiwan. Let me see what we got. And they're just missing all of that activity. It's really important to see what's going on around this plate. And they're not reporting much of it at all. But we know this whole area has seen a major increase in activity. The Crow-Kamchatka Trench up here now, it looks as though that is the quiet zone currently. Japan Trench northward area lacking activity. New Zealand area showing a whole bunch of activity up here on the map as well. Quite a few fours clustered around the North Island, New Zealand area, and also along the Kermadec Trench. Nada showing up here from the USGS. So for that, we'll go to the GeoNet servers and see what is going on across the area. I'm hoping maybe we'll get a lightning strike or two so you guys can hear it on the microphone. Actually, it looks like it's just going to barely miss us, the brunt of this system. Oh, goodness, it never fails. Let's see. So couple twos out here over the last couple hours. Did have a 4.2 South Island about 8 hours ago. Let's see what we got. That wasn't reported here by the USGS. And let's check the globe. There it is up on the globe right there, 4.2 being reported. All magnitudes map here. Let's see, a couple ones, quite a few twos. Just looking to see what we had over the past couple hours here. Some threes as well. Mostly ones. There's that 4.3 Kermadec Trench area, 300 kilometers deep. So there's definitely some activity here being reported by the GeoNet another 4.35 hours ago. All this activity is just important for this area. Kind of figure out what's going on here with the plate boundary, but when it looks like this, when it shows nothing, you assume that everything's quiet, but it's not. Let me go over here to the back to the GeoNet servers and see what we got for any volcanic drums going off. And a little bit of activity. Let's see here. 4.3 that struck well into the Kermadec Trench doesn't look like it's showing up on any of these seismographs. But looking at these, generally, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of activity at all. No large-scale activity, but apparently a couple of reports coming in from the GeoNet servers of earthquake activity. Same for the volcanic drums, I'm sure. Looks like a couple small specks here and spikes, but nothing major going off across the New Zealand area currently. So let's see, westward, not a whole lot going on here. I'd find that hard to believe. So we're going to check the GeoNet or the EMSC model here and take a look. It does look like it's remained relatively quiet across Himalayas through portions of the Middle East and over westward until we get into the western Turkey area. Looks like Mediterranean region. Crete area looks like they're seeing some activity as well. Quite a few twos clustered. One earthquake being reported here just south of Crete. This came in about 4 o'clock this morning of 4.2. So definitely some activity kind of working its way within this plate boundary. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, it's just a lot of movement within this area. A lot. All right, let's see. Nothing major going on in SoCal. Looks like there was a 2.5 off the coast of San Diego. Was that being reported by the USGS? Let me see here. Yeah, it looks like it was. This one right here. 2.5, 1 kilometer deep. Goodness. Out there around the Santa Cruz Basin area. A whole lot of fault systems offshore here as well. Yeah, crazy. All right. Well, for now, West Coast is, active, but not super active. Things just kind of doing its thing out there. I don't believe we have anything going on across Yellowstone currently. That is a quiet zone for now, too. No major swarms kicking up. It's been a while since we've seen like an intense earthquake swarm. Every once in a while we'll see these little spikes and specks kind of accumulate across the graphs here in some type of swarm pattern. But, nothing major going on here across the area of Yellowstone currently. And space weather activity, look at this. We're getting a pretty good M flare, it looks like. A long duration M flare. Look at that bad boy. Looks like a giant matchstick here on the sun. Flame kicking up. It's a beautiful looking flare. Let's see here. That's the most recent image here. I'm going to keep that one there because I'm probably going to use that for my thumbnail of this title. But getting a pretty good D-layer. Wow, look at this. This may be starting to pop off a very strong X flare the way it's looking. And it's flaring all right. That's an understatement for this sunspot right here. That is huge and very active. It's a long duration one. Now, so far, it really hasn't peaked out. It looks like we had a good M3.5 there. Went down a little bit. Now it's going back up. We could see an X flare in this type of environment, this type of setup. Notice the major blackout of the high frequency and low frequency communication navigation systems out here on the sunlit side of the Earth, centered directly over the Pacific Ocean. currently M4.2. Goodness, that's a strong flare. Coming from 3182, a little bit of closeness here with that structure of the magnetic fields. 3182, that was the big one. It had decayed last night. It decayed fairly nicely, but it looks like it's picked up a little bit here. Latest imagery still shows some complex systems here with that flare, with that sunspot. Here's a little bit more viewing of the new ginormous sunspots coming off the eastern limb here of the sun. This bad boy looks fairly impressive. So does this one. I think we're going to be in for a very active week. Excuse me. That's about the third time I've done that on an update and a live stream since I've been YouTubing out here. Sneezes just don't come on like that. That's kind of crazy. Let's see what our overall threat is right now. Looks like they've lowered that X flare potential, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see an X flare. It almost always happens. They lower something and then it pops up. 99% chance of a C flare, M flare at 50, 10% chance for an X flare, and proton event 15% chance. And things are still elevated across the solar charts here. No major expected activity from the 3-day, although we are getting some unsettled conditions here across the auroras. The areas in the higher latitudes seeing the aurora possibilities up around 50% or more. And that's probably due to some, let me guess. There we go. This red line right here opening up, allowing some solar wind stream to kind of flow in there with that BZ component pointing towards the south. And it will pretty much allow any solar, the sun's always putting off solar charged particles, and not as much as like a massive CME would do, but it's always putting out some energy. And sometimes when we see that BZ component there point to the south, it allows the current solar wind stream, even though it may be minimal, it will still allow it to flow in and create these unsettled conditions that weren't really forecasting. But they're up there, and a good chance of seeing the auroras there through the Greenland and the Iceland area. So look up if you're out there. Look up into that night sky. But that's goodness. That is a bright image. I'm waiting for a massive X45 or X48 flare to pop off. Never know. It's likely. It's happened in the past. It will happen again. That's a guarantee. Just a matter of time before that does happen again. And then we're going to be in some trouble here with all of our electronics. Let's see here. Have we peaked out? Kind of looks like we peaked out. Either way, that's a long duration flare up there in the high M range. Looks like M4.5 so far. But we'll watch it and see how this plays out. We could be seeing that stair-step ladder type of flare where we're, crackling really good, and then all of a sudden, zzz, we go up way into the X class. We'll watch that pretty closely. Obviously, if the stream goes down and everyone's electronics stop working, I don't think it'd go that far, but you never know. These super strong flares can have, some subsequent event things happen here on Earth that could go wrong. Power grids and whatnot. Some of the strongest flaring and subsequent CMEs if that were to happen. But either way, we'll continue to watch it. A couple of these sunspots harbor some very complex magnetic structure there. 3182, the one that is currently producing that impressive flare, harbors a beta gamma class. This was put out today, wasn't it? 13? No, that was yesterday. The BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field is currently tilted south, and the solar wind speed is somewhat elevated, near 475. So they're just kind of chatting about here yesterday when we've seen some unsettled conditions there with the aurora, and it looks like that's continuing today. Thanks to that BZ component pointing tilted towards the south. All right, folks, I am going to jump off here and get this uploaded. Don't forget, tomorrow we are doing our drawing. Not really supposed to have any heavy rain, just probably just generally light rain tomorrow, if that. And then after tomorrow's little storm system, it's supposed to dry out around here, and that could be welcomed, to a few folks. I'm not ready for the rain to end. I still think we need a lot more. But yeah, it might be welcome to those that are definitely surrounded by some water out here. But either way, I'm sure we'll get some more before the summer hits, and then you can have your 110, 115 degree days for 5 months. I'm really not looking forward to that yet. I'm enjoying this cooler, rainy weather. I'd love to see a couple more months of this. And then you can have your 115 degree days. No way. No thank you. All right, guys. I'm off here. Have a good day. We'll catch you guys a little bit later on tonight with the update video. Till then, keep an eye on the solar flare activity. Peace out.